Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great day. This is your girl, Aly. Hey, I have been missing y'all. Have y'all been missing me? Because I've been a little bit under the weather, but you know what? The show must go on. So today is my big strike back day. And so I'm excited. And as you guys know, we're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon. And all the flyers that are going through are different things about activities that are happening in the community. So if you didn't catch it, you can always catch the replay, and you can also look in the Facebook group, and the flyers are usually there. They'll be there in a little bit. So, but I'm excited because it's a great way to come back. It's with no other guest than Eric Scarcia.
Hi. Thank you for
How
having
are
me.
you?
It's amazing here. I'm calling you from Amsterdam, right? So, yeah, happy to be
Exactly.
your guest. Thank you.
I'm so excited because we are what, 6 hours, 8 hours
Yeah,
apart.
we're into your future. We know what's going to happen. So,
Oh, that's a
ask me
good way of
anything.
thinking about it. So I'm excited to have Eric with us today. He does all kinds of amazing things. If you ever have the chance to be in the room with Eric, take that chance because he was with us at the Be Brilliant movement. He's part of Angela's team, and the things that they do is just amazing to me. I'm trying to get there. I'm following that path. And so, Eric, but before we get started, I got excited. I want to have the opportunity to introduce yourself to our family since this is your first time here.
Thank you, Alicia. So, my name is Iris Garcia. I'm calling you from Amsterdam. So, if you don't understand some of the words, it's comes because my English is not my first language. So, I'll try. And sometimes my word might sound a little bit British. Some people mentioned that, oh, this sounds very strange. So, I had this thing where I was talking about the after, and people said, what's he talking about? It's the after. So that happens. And yeah, I'm happy to be on your show. You said I do many things. I'm a jack of all trades, and that has some advantages when you need like a Swiss Army knife. But when you need like a very surgical thing, then sometimes you might call someone else. But that's
Right.
what I do. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome again to the show. Now you're just part of the family, so you're welcome anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I'm excited about our topic today. And I mean, like I said, Eric can flow in just about any arena, or any topic. But the topic today is distraction equals destruction. And I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, that sounds good. And there's so many ways we can talk about that. And I mean, but it can apply in business, in your personal life, in family, at work, whatever. So, Eric, why did you choose that topic?
Well, it's first of all because it sounds like a strange word game, right? So the distraction is destruction. We know those two words, but how do we put them together? But once you start thinking, and that happens when you're not distracted, right?
Mhm.
Then you might want to see that it makes sense. And your family is all about making the connection, right? And we might all feel at some points that our connections are lost, right? Or we're looking out and there's no one to connect with because everybody's on their phone or being very connected, right? So there's more of that going on. And I've been looking for quite some years what's troubling me, and as we know, in the end, we were all looking for something. What's troubling us? And it's not that I'm troubled, but I was always distracted, and I
Mhm.
saw how that uh, trickled into other things that I might not like. And so I thought, okay, let me look up and see, okay, where does it all come together? And it was with distraction. As a young kid, I was like sitting in the classroom, and I was like, I was we had a test or something, and then half in, somebody would say, "Hey, Eric, this is not about birds," and I would do something and then finish it. So I'm still in a good place, but I can imagine that not everybody is that lucky in that sense. So I think it's very important that we look at the roots of some of the evils that beset us, and I think distraction is one, and that we are not thinking about too often, also because we are distracted. So I hope
True.
that explains a little bit already why. And I think that other words with D are disrupted, distressed, and destitute. And I think that goes for sometimes for our finances. So we can talk about it later, right? But also
Right.
about our attention and energy. And when we're distracted, we're disrupted. We are sometimes distressed by what distracts us, and we might be destitute in terms of attention. Yeah,
Exactly. I like all those other words too. Disrupted, distressed, and what was the other one?
destitute.
Destitute. I mean, it really hit me because I was like, that is really something that I know a lot of people are dealing with, but I don't think we realize a lot of times that that's what's happening. We think,
Hmm.
well, this is life, or, this stuff happens, but sometimes it's just a distraction to get you off course. Because that's why I'm here today at this interview, because I was like, this little injury I had was distracting me, and I wasn't able to meet with my guests, have my Monday and Saturday conversations. I was
Hmm.
missing that. And even other stuff, flyers and things that I needed to get done. I mean, it was just distracting me, and I was like, okay, it is what it is. It had its moment, but now it's time for me to take my time back.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Ali. So what do you miss out on by being distracted? Is that something that you contemplate on?
So for me, I felt like with this particular instance, I was missing out on progression. Things that needed to get done, things that should have been done already, contacting the guests that are yet to come, and just putting things in order so that at the end of the day, I'm not stressed and I'm not having to do 15 things and then maybe I did one well and 14 kind of
Hmm.
were not so good, but they were done. So I was missing out on progression and, moving forward.
Okay. So how do you want me to tackle this one? Because there is so much we can talk about, and where it comes from, why it is what it is, the exact biological things that are happening, and also the solutions to things. Where would you like me? Where would you like to start?
So I think we have to also remember, so like with an injury or something like that, that that has to take time to heal. Although but at some point in time, you got to quit milking it too. You got to be like, okay, it might hurt a little bit, but I still have stuff to do. But then I think there are those distractions that come because, how can I say it? They're there and we can move them to the side, but we give them too much energy.
Hmm.
So, is it we give them that energy because we're really scared to go do what we need to do on this side, or what is it? What do you think?
Well, this is a typical chicken egg question, right? Which was first? And I always say just pick one and stick with it. So in this case, I will start with the egg, right? And the egg is the fact that first of all, we don't have to feel we have to be hard on ourselves uh, because we feel distracted, right? There is a very simple reason why some distraction is a good thing. So envision this: we are basically survivors of people who were healthily distracted. So we could say that people who saw the tiger first in the jungle, right, and were not eaten, and they are our ancestors. So our brains, and sometimes, and I'm not sure, there's no religious meaning in by what I'm going to say now, but people sometimes quote. There's a quote that says, "We have our Paleolithic brains, right? We have ancient brains, medieval institutions, and sometimes godlike technology or technology with very with potential that we can't understand with our Paleolithic brains."
Hmm.
So to a large extent, we're still basically cave people, or we are still somewhat behind, right? We miss some of the thousand updates that you see in Windows popping up, right? One of 100,000 updates, and so that means that we are not really equipped to handle the current attention environment. And if we look at the healthy distraction, so who saw the crocodile first, right, or who saw the fire for who noticed the fire first, that's a good thing. And let me go into a thing that directly, and I'm circling back to
Oh,
answer
you
your
good?
question. But the interesting thing is that I'm also marketing, right? And what marketers have perfected now is the way of hacking what they call your croc brain, right? So this initial brain stem that we have that reacts to someone shouting fire or tiger or something like that, and that happens on a constant basis, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's news or it's our phones or. And you have to remember that our phones are the fact that we can connect is a good thing, right? And the first phones, I remember that I was one of the first in my class with a phone, and everybody said, "You're such a yuppie with a phone," right? Like the late '90s, and I was saying, "Yeah, but yes, if something happens to my mom, right, or something happens to me, then I have a phone, and you haven't." And I must admit that some of the people, when we're going out drinking, have a good time. They say, "Oh, I need to call my mom because I'm a little bit later," right? So they use that phone as well. So the thing is, we always find a reason to be distracted or to, and we're good at that. That's a whole different topic. Why we're good at that? It also comes from that time. But the interesting thing is that Crockbane also overrides our reasoning that we have developed later,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think it's fair to say that nowadays, maybe not everybody, but most people have developed some reasoning capabilities beyond people 5, 6, 700 years ago, right? We are because we're confronted with people that are more reasonable. Let's put it that way, but also because we have not been um, living in extinction conditions all the time, right? So also, so coming back to when you're distracted or not, being calm means that you can stay calm and reason and figure out ways to do think long term instead of short term. And the thing is that when you have a lot of things to do, there is stress, right? And we all know that if you're stressed, that's usually not the best state of mind to do the important stuff,
Right.
right? A little bit of stress is good to get out of bed when something goes wrong, but usually you shouldn't be in that state all the time. And even our earliest ancestors, they would live lives that were pretty calm, unless the evil night came burning down their village. But the rest of the time, they were pretty calm.
Right.
Uh, and we can see, and there's maybe a good analogy here of when you have a clear pond, right? And you step into it, it gets murky because all the sand goes up, and you can't see the thing that was very clear till a few seconds ago. And it takes time for the sediment to go down again, and maybe in an hour's time it will be the exact clear pond again. And when we're clouded all the time, then whatever might have not be stressful in itself becomes even more stressful because it adds to the murky waters in which we can't see where we're going.
Right.
Um, so I hope that's already a little bit into an answer of your question.
Yeah. I mean, really, because you're talking about the distractions really do cause stress, and but you have to know how to, because life is life. We're going to have distractions. We're going to have stressful situations. But I think the
Hmm.
key is, like you said, is not to stay there. Okay, we know this came, we know this happened, we know the tire blew out, and we're supposed to be at this banquet in our honor, and we're just like, oh my gosh, my one time getting recognized, I'm not there. It's a
Hmm.
stressful situation, but still you have to take yourself out of that atmosphere of the stress and be like, okay, at least I'm still alive. I still am being honored. I still get my
Hmm.
reward. So, and still, be able to enjoy it. But some people will take that and be like, I didn't get to walk and accept that reward. I don't, and they don't even care about the reward anymore. Was it about
Hmm.
the walking across the stage, or was it about the award that you had won? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And being recognized for all the great things you've done. And so I think sometimes those distractions make us forget about really how awesome we are and what kind of value we add to the world, and they take over.
Yeah. But do you have that one? When do you actually acknowledge that you have a great life and things are going great? Is it when you are in a rush to get something, or is it when you are calm and sitting on the porch, or when you're walking in nature? When does that occur?
When you're calm and
Yeah.
focused and not distracted.
Yeah. and it's hard, right? It's so hard if someone cries wolf to not listen to that. And that's usually it has most of history. It has been a great thing, right? But now that everybody is is perfecting this um, this thing that we have in our heads, right? It's only, I would say, the last 70 years that this has grown exponentially, or even bizarrely high, and we haven't been able to keep up with it.
Right.
What we do know now, and I think everybody knows that after a stressful day, we also like, I hope this is it, right, for today, right? And sometimes, and unfortunately to most people, not being aware of how this happens and why this happens and when this exactly happens, the water has not set, the sediment has not settled when they wake up again. So
Right.
they start again in a murky situation, and murky can be of any kind, right? It can be financial, it can be emotional, it can be just some career stress or something political stuff. Everything can go, or just being not having clear answers on things, right? And in that sense, I'm not a religious man, but I feel that religion has a very important role in just saying, okay, this is what it is. I can trust on this, and it means I have faith in this, and that already helps to the sediment to settle down. So in that sense, whether you're religious or not, I think it's a good thing, if only in that sense. So
Right.
I hope I'm not stirring up too much political or too much
Oh
things.
no.
That's how we're pretty blunt battle axes here in the Netherlands. So yeah,
Right. No, you're good. You're good. I mean, we're talking about truth. We're talking about life, And the thing that, we do on the shows, we always like to encourage people, no matter where you are, even if it seems like a stressful situation, you don't know how to get out of it. You're distracted by 15 different things. We try to, bring that calm and say, you can get through this. Take some time, maybe write some notes. I think a lot of times people still don't write that like to-do list, or for some people the to-do list is stressful because they see all the things they have to do, so
yeah,
you have to find out which one works best for you, right, in order
mhm,
to keep those distractions, um not away but in control, because we are going to have distractions. That is a part of life. Things are going to come up that you're not expecting. A
mhm,
bill that you thought you paid off, and all of a sudden here it is. It's on your credit report. You know, um,
yeah,
an old ex that you thought you were over, and you see them with their new boo, and you just start crying. I mean, life happens, right?
yeah, yeah, and it's I wouldn't go as far as to say that there is people having bad intentions, right? It's let's leave that aside. We know that people might use that for their own gain, whether it's business, political affiliations, otherwise. And our apps, and I've been working on. I've been asked to consult on many startup projects and apps, and that. So I know that these apps are built to steer our minds into certain choices, a set of choices, right? It works at giving us the
Right.
exact illusion of control, as I can go deeper into that, but how it's done. But even I fall for it, right? So knowing how it works, being the evil marketer guy, I also fall for it. So as some people would call it karma or something else, right? It's
Right.
right that you fall for it. So I take it like a man. But the thing is, it's only human. And where it starts, as you said, is by being aware of what it is and how you react to it. The funny thing is that in order to be able to recognize that, you need to have a little bit of calm, right? Otherwise, you're still thinking about the news and stuff. You will never come to that. And there's an interesting thing, how you would describe the world as being frazzled, fearful, freaking out, and society fractured. Again, the alliterations with the F. And there are tons of books around what this could lead to, like in ideology and stuff like that. But I would like to say that what one of the things that biologically happens is that um, and here comes
Marketing.
another alliteration, is that we all know that when we went to a doctor as kids, they would they would tap with a hammer on our knees, right, to see our reflexes, our knees going up. So that's a reflex. That's something that you can't really control.
Right.
The next thing that happened is a reaction, right? So there might be something, and then so instead of having only your knee go up, you might say something that comes out. Then we have a response, right? And it might be influenced by some reasoning or something like that. And then from the reflex, we go to actually reflection, right? And then we start to think, oh, what did I do? Why did I say that? Right? We all know that. And
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. And if you're thinking about it, it's also, you need some time and calm for that. Is that we work with emotions instead of our feelings. But many people say, how do you feel? And then they express their emotion. I feel sad. Well, or I feel anger. Well, is that really a feeling, or is it just an emotion that you have triggered by whatever is going around? And it's very interesting to see how we, also coming from that old, from our ancestors, that so we went to do something stupid in the jungle, and then we went back to the tribe, and we need to come with a story, right? Why did you do that? Well, it sounded like a good idea back then, and yeah, he was attacking me, so I did. So what we do is what we call post rationalization, right? We rationalize after the fact. So it's always when we have done something nice, or we drank too much, or we did something, and we say, yeah, it was really necessary, and then I met Hank, and then I met blah, 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 and I had to blah, 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 and that's why I'm late, right? So we do that, and it's also human. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. We should just start being aware, and as you said, try to feel whenever that happens, and do we really like it? Do we want to steer it? And sometimes letting some distraction is also good, right? If you're going on holidays, a little bit of distraction is fine.
Right.
Where it gets tricky is when you're constantly in the situation of murky waters, right? The pond that is very clouded, and your mind is clouded. Then I would almost say ego creeps in, right? And the ego could be in the form of hedonism, right? You need some sedation for the situation that you're in. You want to calm down, but you can't because everything is so stressed. And because you were stressed, you did some, well, less optimal decisions, right? Financially or something else. And I can tell you that, and I know that I might sometimes sound smart, but I know how it is to have financial stress, and it's not helping. And
Right.
as much as I might sound calm and composed now, well, I'm half Italian, so I can tell you that some of the temperamento kicks in whenever my pond is troubled, right? So, but then we need the sedation, and that's what happens when we come home. And I'm dramatizing for dramatic purposes, saying, okay, you come home from a job you don't like, to a situation that you would like to see better, and then you don't know what to do, so you just want to lay down in front of the television, eat whatever comes up, which is easy,
Right.
watch something that is easy, and we need that sedation to calm the thing down, right?
Yeah.
And because things are crowded, and our croc brain is hijacked, and we're everywhere, we can't really think of, okay, what's the situation really like? What do I need to do? Which steps? What is long term actually? People will say, stop about long term. I would just want to make it through the day. I understand it, right? There are survival situations, but there are many situations where it would help us to just calm down,
Mm-hmm.
and think about what, and now we go for quick fixes, things that, cheap tricks, right? We fall for that because we don't take the time to step back and say, okay, what's really going on? And a good thing is that as we're equipped with brains that are a little bit left behind, right? We're also equipped with very good senses of intuition. So it was a good with a bad thing. The thing is
Right.
that intuition usually loses when the brain is saying, "Shut up, intuition! I need to focus on the next news," right? And quick thing on news is that they use terms like, "If it's bleeding, it's leading," right? If something bad is going on, our brains are like that because it usually meant danger for our tribe as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in marketing terms, we say, if it's enraging, it's engaging. That's why so many of negativity gets the algorithm of Facebook to to throw that at you, because people stay longer on their platform looking at
Right.
more advertisements
Right.
because they were enraged by something. And I'm not sure how whenever you because you're saying yes. So is this something that happens in your mind too?
Yeah, that and yeah, Facebook is good at distracting people because they have all these ads, and you can just be having a conversation with your family, and next thing you know, the ad, some kind of ad is popping up on your phone. You're like, wait a minute, were they eavesdropping on
Yeah.
my conversation? But I hear both sides what you're saying, and I hope this is what the audience is hearing: is that there are good distractions. Distractions are part of life, but we can't let those distractions get us to a place of distress where we feel that destruction. We feel like there's no hope to turn back. We feel like there's no
Hmm.
way we can get back. We have to get in that calm place. If you are a person of prayer, pray. If you're a person who journals, journal. Get that distraction, get that energy out somewhere so that you can get back to the calm. Like for me, like when things are just like crazy, crazy all the time, I like to go to the movies. I actually go to a movie. I can watch movies at home, but it's different for some reason if I'm in that atmosphere. I think
Hmm.
because the phone, you can't have your phones on. I mean, people have their phones on. People even talk in the movie theater, but I'm not one of those people. So my phone is off. I think I have that I've been given that reprieve that I can say, "Well, I was at the movie. I couldn't have called you back. I couldn't answer the phone."
Yeah.
So, but I have to do that, to get back to that place of calm. And then I'm like, okay, of these 10 things that I still have to do, which one's first? Because what I have learned in my financial career and things that they're doing, there's only one number one, right?
Yeah.
We going back to this one number one. When I take care of that number one, then somebody else takes that place to number one. But I'm going down the list, right?
Yeah. Um, well, you could have said it better. There's a very interesting book. I think it's called from Gary Keller, and it's called One Thing. And it sounds so simple. And he says, he starts with the saying that we say, "I don't have my priorities right." Right? That we can quote that.
Right.
Funny thing is that prior means like the first thing in Latin. There's only one first thing. So actually, the word priorities is not a good one. There's always something that is more important than the other things, or makes the other things easier or
Yep.
unnecessary.
Hmm.
And an interesting way to get it. So I can give you like 500 life hacks, and then maybe we can throw a few in there. But for one thing, and I know we have been talking, we have been able to talk to each other about some certain things. And one of the best things that you can start with is eliminating what you don't like,
Hmm.
right? And saying, what do I don't need? And just a quick thing before I forget it, there is a very interesting quote that is very very good to keep in mind if you're not distracted, right? Is if you are not paying for it, you're the product being sold. And I
Hmm.
know people are not paying you for this channel, but and I'm not you're not selling them, but usually that's what happened, right? So Google might be free, but it's not, right? You're paying
Right.
for it with something else. You're the
Right.
product being sold. And by knowing that, you might already look differently at certain things that you meet in everyday life. So when you get, oh, a free consult here, a free credit card there, yeah, sure, right? It might mean that I don't have to pay now, but I either pay with privacy, attention later, some scheme later on. So with the words free, be careful, right? There are things where you can just be careful, and that's the first thing. And the second thing is coming back to elimination. Is looking, okay, what are things that really trigger me, what I don't like, right? I'm
Hmm.
not saying that you should never listen to the news again. I don't, for a person. I stopped with doing that. I do it once a week. I just checked, have like an overall check. Are we still good? Is there something that I need to know, right? Do I need to change
Right.
mortgage? Do I need to do something? But not on a daily basis. And also know that news is not necessarily a bad thing, although people try to say that. It's just their business model works on getting your eyeballs.
Right.
right? And the funny thing is that some years ago they did research on the attention span of goldfish, and goldfish, on average, right? There are some lucid ones. They seem to have an attention span of 8-9 seconds. And be aware that the average, and it's not only the American, but the average Western citizen is, well, under that now.
I can believe that.
So yeah. So I'm not saying we're goldfish, right? We're even worse. No, I'm just it's something to think about. And so by being aware of what you triggers, and then even put it on a list. Start with what triggers you. Just write it down. And as you said, journaling or something like that already puts it out of your head, so it's not swimming around. It's a little bit of
Yeah.
sediment that settles down, and it really helps. And if you look at this, oh wow, this is a lot, right? And then you might, you don't have to, but then you might make some choices on what you really want to keep in your life. Another thing on that same note is eliminating what you want to be notified about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't need every notification about everything, right? Even your favorite sports team. Okay, this is a tricky one. I know that in US sport is a sacred thing,
What
but
do you mean? What?
okay. So
Just your
I'm not sure.
favorite team. You don't have to be notified about every team. Let's put it like
Okay,
that.
let's put it that right. But every transfer of this goes to that
Right.
draft, not draft. So that those are already small things that you can do that don't cost you anything, and will already make sure that oh, this is this is calming, right? And not having the little red balls on your iPhone all the time.
Right.
Saying to people, I have actually done it in my previous corporate job where I said I might read your email only twice a day. And I got a lot of flack from my superiors. How can you do that if I mail you? And then I said, but do you want me burned out and pay for my sick leave for many years? Or do you want me to make sure that you get a lucid response? And maybe I've already settled, I've already fixed it for you, or even better, whenever at the time when I read it. Well, Eric, I don't like it, but you saved your bacon this time. So that's something. So that might also be a thing that you might contemplate. It's already making sure that you determine when the tap of attention capture goes on and off. That might already be a big thing.
Exactly. You know, Eric, that's
Yeah.
good. I like that because I feel like when you tell me you're only going to read my email twice a day, if it's something I can really handle myself, I'm gonna figure that out because I don't want to send him something trivial. Because when I really need his help, I really need him to answer that. So to me,
Yeah.
that would make people be like, "Oh well, I better make this good, or I better get it all together, know what I'm saying." Because sometimes people come with different parts of the story. Oh, but I forgot to add this. Oh, and I forgot to tell you this. And that. No, they make sure
Yeah.
it's all in there because you only get two opportunities today. That's it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And how do you so making the show, it takes energy, passion, all these things, and you already said that, hey, you might have been distracted by this and the other. How do you um, stay sane in this attention destitute environment?
Am I saying no? I'm gonna
Well, at
tell
least you
you.
appear to be. So you must be doing something or
I
something
did
right.
something right. So I'm gonna tell you, back in the day, I'd even say even 6 months ago, maybe a year, it would drive me crazy. Like if the guests weren't responding, and I'm like, are they gonna be on? Are they not gonna be on? Uh, what's going on? Why can't they send me this pic? Whatever. And I got to the point. So as you know, I have my welcome letter. It's the same welcome letter for everybody. I rearrange your date, your time, whenever you're supposed to appear, whatever your topic is. I used to try to send out two different letters if you were an artist or if you weren't an artist, but I put it all in one letter. If this applies to you, handle it. If it don't, spit it out. And so, I have that. You have to go through the calendar link to schedule the interview because I can't keep going back to you. Oh, it's Thursday open. I don't do a show on Thursday. I said Monday or Saturday. You go to the link. There's only 2 days available. You pick a Monday or a Saturday.
Hmm.
Then,
I had to jump through so many hoops to get into this show. People don't know, right? So, yeah.
right.
But that's good. Guarding your life and your attention. That's a great thing. gardening.
Yeah, because your peace is so important, and you just gotta. There are some things, if you can automate it, automate it. It's gonna make your life better. It might take some time getting there, but if once you've done it, then it makes your life a little bit simpler. Now, even like for flyers and things like that, if I don't hear from you by this date, I'll just put a flyer out. And if your picture's not on it, that's not my fault, it's your fault. So it's back in your corner. If you have too many
Hmm.
distractions, this is what we can help you do. So that's
Hmm.
how, I had to get to that point because, I love the show and I was getting frustrated and I didn't want to do it anymore. But then I was like, but I love doing this. So no, I'm going to just cut out the middleman, cut out some steps, and make it happen. People who want to be here are here. I have learned that I've been doing this for 4 years, so I have inventory. If somebody doesn't show
Hmm.
up, if my back goes out, I have inventory. So you have to
That's
remind
smart.
yourself of what you do have, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. But I think to be able to remind what you have to be able to use your mind, right? And so the best thing then you can do is just create some distance, as hard as it is. Just say, what do I need?
Right.
And I like how you give a voice to people who are doing that or have done that. And it's very encouraging to see and listen to that. And everybody does it in a different way. But the funny thing is that we all struggle with this thing, with distraction, right? And
Yeah.
I'll also tell you that there is not so much redemption in me because I've never been a bad marketer. I can be a bad boy, but I've never been a bad marketer. So I don't have to make up for things. But I do feel there's a task for people. So that's what I think of is, can we show people how to do to bring our message? First of all, by asking, is it worthy to be? Is worth it to be? Is it worth of someone's attention?
Right.
Right? Not just spit out something because it was easy to do, and I just spray and pray, as we call it. Right? Just throw it out there. Everybody's doing that, and that's why the interesting thing is that marketers will also see that the attention span is less. So because everybody's doing that, and they thought, well, I don't know what to do, so let me spray and pray something out there. Everybody's doing that. They are also distracted, right? So they don't think about smart things to do,
Right.
really things that stick with people. Um, and my message to many entrepreneurs like yourself and others is that um, you are not some big corporate that doesn't know. It's basically like a blind super tanker that has to go on forever. You can be a speedboat, right? You can move around and do things, even if you think it takes money and time. You can do small things that are valuable to people, and sometimes being the silent eye in the storm is what really makes you stand out. And one of the things that I learned from a teacher was that she said, "Well, everybody was screaming in the classroom, right? We have been screaming kids ourselves, I guess, and sometimes we still are.
Yeah.
Um, but it's interesting. You can over scream people, or you can just be silent and be very confident and calm. And the funny thing is that as much as we are distracted, we also crave this calm, right? Because we feel
Yes.
that we can't be distracted all the time. So the ones that are calm, confident, and composed, it's like, what? How are they doing that? How is he so composed, right? And so that has a strong factor of its own, and one that you can't easily be distracted from. You
Right.
just have to be calm and composed, which is sometimes very hard, right? So I'm still working on it. I can manage it over an hour, so maybe after this show I'm going berserk. But that's how it works. And so my message would be, and it's also thinkable. Don't fall for this people who say like you can have like 100,000 likes and stuff like that. Well, my question could go on from are they real people or are they robots, right?
Right.
I can do it that way, but I could also say, how do you want to be known? Can you actually handle 10,000 clients if they would come, right? If that really would have people said, okay, this is nice. Doesn't happen that way because everybody's distracted. But let's say
Right.
so. Be try to be the calm and the focus in the storm, as hard as it sounds and as easy to say. But that has a power of its own, and an authority, and whenever people are distracted, we're looking for authority, and sometimes we look to the wrong figures that emanate some sort of authority, right? Sometimes they're screaming even louder, but they have some authority. And then when we are calm, we see that what they really are, and we see, okay, this person might be screaming, and he might be successful to a certain extent, but it ain't my cup of tea, right? This is not
Right.
really. Is it really good, or is he or she saying? Are they meaning it? Are they eating their own dog food, as we say, right? Do they practice what they preach? And I
Exactly.
think that if we give space to our intuition, then we are in such a good place. So the funny thing is that as distracted as we are, we're also given this intuition that can take over if you calm down a bit.
I love
So
it.
yeah.
I love it. This is a good conversation. I am enjoying myself. Look, and I'm taking notes. I'm like, I have to remember this.
Sorry, it's a little bit of a monologue, but please disrupt and distract me
Oh,
when I'm talking. So
no,
yeah.
you're doing great. I in just a minute we are going to go to a commercial, and this commercial, what they were are going to see is when we were at the Be Brilliant movement, and I shortened the clips so not to give them too much information, but just one of the clips from where you were teaching us in a class. And so we're going to see that in just a minute, and you guys stay tuned. We're going to be back with more from Eric Garcia. I may not have given Alan much
I call
time.
that trick stuff, the negative part. So let me try to explain it in a story. And it was not my own story, but it's a good one to understand it. So I went to a construction site and I saw three masons doing their thing. I went to the first one and said, okay, John, what are you doing? Well, I'm just laying bricks, just doing it all day long, just laying bricks. I'm actually quite good at it. Okay. So, Bill, what were you doing? Well, I'm actually creating a wall, firm wall. Keep the wind out, the elements out. Okay, thank you. So, Pete, what are you doing? Well, I'm actually building a cathedral. What I'm doing is participating in this grand work of creating a cathedral, leaving a legacy, giving people a place where they can pray, be at peace, find each other. And they were all basically doing the same thing, but from a different vision.
Wow.
Yes, I hate that. I should have listened to it beforehand. I hope everybody can really hear it. When that part comes on, as you're watching the replay, turn your volume up so you can hear exactly what he's saying, because it was such an interesting concept. All three people were working in the same fashion with the same tools, but how they were using the purpose they were using the tools for was different for each one. But that one, the last one got me because it was like leaving a legacy. Even when I'm not here, this cathedral is going to be here for people to come pray, for people to show their children. This is I was around as this was being built. All these kind of things. It was so that concept was so amazing. So tell us a little bit about that concept.
Okay. Well, thank you for showing that. And yeah, it's an interesting thing that we can do. So if you look at us from a distance, we're not that different as people, right? We need to eat, we need to sleep. If you come closer, then you might see some nuances and differences, and that's what people usually fight over, right? Over the difference, not over the things that we have in common.
Right.
And the interesting thing is that these three people are doing the same thing day in, day out, and they're actually quite good at it. But because we are distracted and we need the sedation and stuff like that, we usually end up most of the days being Bill, the first one, William, right? So who was laying just the bricks. I'm just doing this the entire day long, all day long, right? And that's where we usually are and where we start. And it's so much nicer and lighter to walk with some light, as you do, right? With some light, whether it's in a book or it comes from different things. Your walk is literally lighter. And the interesting thing, I had my experience myself. I was working as a in between job. I was just doing dishes to help a friend out in a hotel, And the first day I was just trying to cope with all the copious amounts of dishes that came my way, right? I was just like, okay, okay. And then I thought, okay, I can do this smarter, right? So I was thinking, okay, let's make walls. Let's make sure that we select everything and we put everything in the right place, and then we do it in a certain order. And after some days, well, I was really bored out. I was like, okay, I got this, right? Everything was going smoother and so on. And okay, what can I do? And the I when I was a kid, I wanted to become an admiral. So I said, okay, let's do it like this. I'm now working on a battleship, right? And if I do the dishes, the cook can shoot out dishes. If I don't do, he can't do his thing. So I'm part of this bigger team, and then it's nice. And every day I could find new games to play, right? Then I was on a in another. Then I was actually in the kitchen. I tried that one too, right? Then I was in a store, in a warehouse, and I could do this for months on end. I haven't done it because I needed to come in the show, right? I need to do some other things, but and then life is so much different. I'm not saying that we should always be on battleships and stuff like that, right? But it depends on how you look at the things that you're doing and how
Yeah.
you see them contribute. And this is where I want to take like a few seconds is um, we are also part of tribes, right? We're born out of someone, right? It needed at least two to get that done. And it takes a village to raise a kid, as they say, right? So whether we want it or not, and because we're so distracted, people tend to go on their own, and we can become more individualized because it's so much to handle that I don't have space for every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the village. Because I need my own space, right? And that's what's actually happening, and I think we might recognize that all. So seeing yourself in the bigger picture, even if it's hard and your neighbor is making a lot of noise, right, and everything is going around, but if you zoom out and you see yourself being part of the landscape, that's actually, and is there, we can feel it, but there's also tons of research that show how that makes people happier, live longer, be more respectful to each other. If you're respectful, other people are that to you most of the time. Right. So if you look focus on partnerships and relationships, that's also a good way to get you grounded and out of the distraction. Okay, relationships can be distracting. That's also, and there's a lot of drama going on around. But in essence, we all know that to be true. So looking at yourself as being part of a bigger team, that is something that we feel, know, and believe is helping in that. So I hope that gives a little bit of a hint to an answer on the questions.
Yeah.
And they're all doing the same. And you recognize, and if you see, and that's another thing, if you see a mason doing that first thing and even the second thing, then ask them some questions. So what would you like this to be, right? Questions that we would ask our kids. What do you want to be when you're but we don't ask. So I haven't asked you yet, Ellie. So what do you want to be beyond a connector, right? That's asking people. Oh yeah, you want to answer? What do you want to be?
Oh Lord, what do I want to be when I grow up? Um,
So
I
what's your
want to be
cathedral?
a what?
What is your cathedral actually that you're building?
So I want to do several different things. I want to be a connector in multiple ways, whether it's through Zoom and telling people about organizations that are out there that can help them, whether it's helping them with their finances, getting that together because finances will make you so stressful and distracted that you can't even, enjoy your day because you're like, okay, I can't even open my blinds because if I do, we have what we call over here is rent a center where you go and rent stuff until you pay it off. I can't open the door because rent a center will see my door open and I'm 2 weeks behind on my payment. So I want to be able to help people to find their peace and to get out of that
Hmm.
that stressful world, that chaotic thing, and just be like, okay, okay, I can deal with this. I can do this. One thing, but there's only one number one. That's what I want. Only one number one. Let's tackle that, and then once that's gone, something else moves in that number one spot. And
Yeah.
before you know it, your list is clear for something else to do. Because we're always going to have a list. There's always going to be something to do, right? Something to conquer. Your kids get out of elementary school, they're going to high school, they're going to college. There's always going to be something. So, but you'll understand how to tackle it and how to make it move in
Hmm.
your realm and not as it wants to do. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, and if you can't pull out of it, the financial unfortunately we can't say no, I don't pay taxes anymore, right? It doesn't officially doesn't work that way. Then you need to manage it. And I think that I've had the honor to talk to you about what you do, and one of the many things. So I'm also very interested in how you manage all those things. Right? There's only one thing, but you do many. Right? You're a lady of many talents. Um, but especially the financial one, that's one that is so. And just told you, right? I can think I'm smart, but the finances are creeping in your nerves too, right? So how do you practically help? So if I have some financial stress, right, how would you help me get the financial distraction, make it less?
So one thing we would definitely do is an assessment, and figure out, what's coming in and what's supposed to be going out. A lot of times that going out is larger than the coming in. And then, but then I also want to know, well, where do you want to be in life? Are you trying to pay off your house early? Are you trying to set aside funds for your child's college, education? Are you trying to prepare for retirement? So a lot of people, they don't really know. I don't know what I want. I just want to stop being in debt. So, we have to figure out, okay, what do you want in life? Where do you want to get to? How much, if you're even talking about retirement, how much do you want to have in retirement? So, we have to ask, we get specific and ask those
Hmm.
questions so we know how to move forward. But if you're not thinking about that stuff and you're just like, I mean, retirement's 20 years away. Well, baby, let me tell you, you need to prepare now. Don't wait 5 years.
Yeah.
It's better to prepare now than to wait till you're 5 years away. Because who knows what your health is going to be like? Who knows if you're going to be able to work into your full retirement? So, you
Hmm.
have to think ahead.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that while you're doing that, you also feel better in the meantime, right? If you keep
Exactly.
laying bricks till whatever moment, it's not that you feel nice or feel part of something, right? So, and I can't help but recognizing some of the things that I said, like having a trigger list, eliminating what's not there, looking for what's your cathedral,
Yeah.
right? With and those are like these principles that are we all know that are true, right? They are there. But when do we start them? Because there's another bill, right? Oh, there's another bill. Oh, there's the news. So,
Right.
so you could help me with that, right? So you would assess the situation, sit down, have a coffee or a tea, calm down, and then look at what is. And would you say um, that while you do it, that even sometimes it might look a little bit grim or dim, that there is always some sort of light on the horizon?
Oh, yes. Yes. Being a spiritual person, I like to quote that scripture that God always gives us a way of escape. It may not be the way we want it, but hey, Miss
Oh,
Connie, Miss
oh,
Constance
that's
is
nice. Hi,
listening.
Connie. Hi, that's nice. Thank
So,
you.
he always gives us a way of escape. But sometimes, like you said, when we're in that distracted sense, we can't see because we're moving so fast, and there could have been a doorway we just passed, but we didn't realize it was a door because right in front of the door was stood a there was a coat or a person was standing in front of the door, but you missed but the door is there. The opportunity to get
Hmm.
out is there. We're just missing it. So I feel like I'm that calm that says, okay, well, what do you see when you circle door? Take it real slow. There is a
Hmm.
person standing there. Is there anything behind the person? Is there anything around the person? In your finances, I know you think you're living paycheck to paycheck, but what can we sacrifice for a moment? I'm not saying you can't ever get your hair done. I'm not saying you can't ever go out and buy a new suit or a car, but what do we want to take off the table so that when you go out and buy that car, you enjoy driving that car? So,
Hmm.
it's just a way to get there if you want to do the work.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you let the sediment settle down, you might actually see some nice stones on the bottom in the pond, right? You might actually see some nice things that are there, opportunities that come your way when you're calm and receptive. So Constance is saying hello, hi, hi, hi,
Yes.
nice to have you here. And the
Thank you
funny
for
thing with this,
joining us.
oh, yeah, that's amazing. It's good to. So I love the conversation with you, but having more people listening in, right? That's even more amazing. Make it more connected.
Right.
Yeah. So how are we going to do better tomorrow? I mean, what are we going to do better tomorrow? or
Well,
today even.
it, it, let's try it today because we still got time today. So first of all, I always like what you say. Figure out what you don't like. Figure out what you don't want. If you don't want chaos, what is causing that chaos? If you don't want to live in lack, what's causing you to live in lack? If you don't want to be alone all the time, okay, there's billions of people in the world. Let's figure out how we can get you out there and how you can find your tribe. And it's not going to happen overnight. Everything, no, it won't. Some things are a process. Sometimes you jump in this tribe and you be like, I like what they were standing for, but I don't like the way they do it. So
Mhm.
and it's okay, right, Eric, to change. I think that's the big thing. I think people
Yeah.
don't like to change.
But and it also has to do because we have been brought up in a certain way. We are moving in. We're part of society that moves in a certain way, and when you're moving against it or stop moving, right, you get this cognitive dissonance and actually some sort of cold turkey kind of effects and some pains there, and that's what keeps people away because they might have tried, right, but but the thing is that beyond that, then is when the calm starts in, and then you might still, oh, I haven't been paying attention to this pain or thing for quite some time. That might also come out, right? So I want to end on a positive note, but I think you should always have the side note of what the side effects are. But beyond that, there is being not distracted is such a it's a thing, and it works already with kids. And I will just start with an example. So I went camping with my nephew. He's 11, and I brought a lot of games to play because he doesn't play a lot of games at home. And I said, well, let's just leave the iPad alone. So I took him to a camping ground without Wi-Fi, and I know that's really hard, right? So one of the first things that he said when camping, do they have Wi-Fi? I said, well, I have it if you really need it. But then we had all the games there were like 6, 7 games. And which one do you play? Well, which one do you want to play, Uncle? Well, I said I want to play them all, but we can't do that again. Right? It's a little bit too much. So, but how do we choose them? So we said, okay, let's put one against the other. So do you like Stratego and like Risk? I didn't like Risk, and then we went to the other, and we did this elimination game, and you can do it with all your priorities, and that's actually in the book as well. And we ended up playing this I don't know, it's like Colonists of Catan. It's like a nice game. But he wouldn't have come there on its own when I'm asking, what do you want? And we as humans are better at knowing what we don't want. And that's something where you can always start. And it might sound negative, but it's actually so nice if you can park all the things that you don't want and then already have more focus on the things that you do want. Well,
And I think that's so true. Alan, go ahead and get the last video ready. But one time I did a vision board, and we always put on there, want a house, a car, whatever you want. But also, mine was I don't want to be in debt anymore. I don't want to live in the negative. Let's just be honest. Whatever it is, I don't want to. I don't want to not move forward in my entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? So I had to remind myself of stuff that I don't want to. I don't want to where I don't want to be. And if I don't want to be in
mhm,
lack, if I don't want to live in the negative, then I have to do something different, you know? And
mhm,
so that worked for me. It may not work for everybody, but again, you have to find what works for you and what inspires you and what, gets you jump started because you got to start somewhere,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I want to end with another alliteration, right? Without distraction, dignity comes back. And I think
Mhm.
that with financial thing that a lot of the thing that I felt back then, and sometimes still, is the lack of dignity or something.
Yeah,
And it comes back when you are not distracted by all these things. So
yeah,
dignity is in the end goal, I would say.
yeah. And I think that happens when, you're taking control of something. Because sometimes when people are controlling you, they don't they don't put you in the brightest light. So
Hmm.
when you take control of, okay, well, I'm not going to work for this person, but guess what? There are other opportunities out there. There's going to be somebody who appreciates who you are and what you're able to do and what you bring to the table and will appreciate you. So you just got to keep looking. Be encouraged out there.
Hmm.
So, Eric,
Well, I feel encouraged, so that's good.
I'm going to play this last video. This is also from the Be Brilliant movement retreat. It's a short video, and then we're going to come back tell people, if they want to reach out to you, if they want to work with you or some kind of way, how they can follow you, and what you have to offer. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll be right back.
Get in with you. Hi. Hello. Hi, Conversations with Aly. Aly is here. She's in the house. She landed on Plymouth meeting. She rocked it out. She told her story. Yay! Be sure to share her videos. Bye. Thank you. You're welcome.
So that was the last day of our Be Brilliant movement retreat, and everybody was taking pictures and trying to get with everybody and get numbers and things like that. And so it was a great time. So Eric, definitely
Hmm.
tell us, who you are as part of the Be Brilliant movement. And I think you guys have something coming up in October, correct?
Yeah, so well, there was a lot of good distraction with all those phones out there, right? So that was good. Um, I think there is something that's very close, and it actually starts tomorrow. We're having a free what we call brand camp, where we do a virtual retreat. It's an hour a day. It starts at 8 p.m. EST Eastern. So what I do within, so Angela, you have all had the honor and pleasure of seeing her, and she's amazing and very enthusiastic and wise woman, and she's leading the brand camp, and I'm behind the scenes helping her. And whenever we have a retreat or something, um, she calls me like the tech wizard. So I sometimes help her with all the practicalities and the strategy, and where she's the energy and the heart of the operation, I would say. So what we're doing, which is very interesting to follow, I would say, and you can find us at brilliantretreats.com slash brandcamp. And Brandcamp is BRANDCAMP.
Very
So
good.
brilliantretreats.com slash brandcamp. And that's also where you could reach out to Angela. And also, if you want to find me, there's always a good way to find us. And yeah, I would invite you to check it out. And well, it's free, and it's just at 8 p.m. So you can just be distracted by it while you're not distracted by bad things, right? So that's good. And you might learn a thing or two. That's also good. So that's what and yeah, that's where we met, right? So at the Brilliant Retreat. So you were playing full out, and it was really amazing. And you're a lady of many talents, and I'm very interested in how you do how you take away the financial stress, because in all this thing, I think we really you pick a very concrete thing that takes away dignity and brings for many people. And I think that's where the most stress is nowadays in Western societies, right? We're not
Right.
eaten by lions every day anymore, but we might be feeling eaten by IRS, whatever it's coming. And I, yeah, really, so I feel honored that I was allowed to say a few words here, and keep on what you're doing. And beyond this beautiful channel and the beautiful family that you take care of, also help the good distraction cause in this way. Yeah. So thank you for having me, and bless you, someone in the background.
No. Ah, that beautiful family. So thank you, Eric, for being with us today. I really enjoy this conversation. I think it's important because a lot of times we let distractions lead us to destruction. And so, what we want you to make sure that you heard today is that it doesn't have to be that way. Distractions are a part of life, but we just have to be able to take control of those distractions. And you have to, just like he was saying, we do many things, but like right now, I can't be teaching somebody about finances. I can on the show technically, but I can't be with the client and be on the show. So there's only
Yeah.
one number one. So my number one right now is the show. When I get off the show, I can help 15 people. So sometimes you gotta, take one thing at a time, build one thing at a time, one leg at a time, become strong there. And so I would definitely encourage you to be on the videos. You said it starts tomorrow, right? Brand camp.
Yes, yeah. But so brilliantretreats.com/brandcamp. That's where you can find it.
Go there, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to get this done. I don't know how to make this happen. I need PR. I need to schedule. I need to come to brand camp, and you'll find out some more things, and you might even meet somebody there that can become your partner or become your support. I tell you, those ladies, I think about them every day. I'll be like, I wonder what Daisy's doing. I wonder what Mitzi's into, So you start building, connections that are positive and that will move you forward. So we hope that you were encouraged by this video. Make sure you share it with people, your friends, your enemies, whoever, because everybody needs help. Because I feel like if you help your enemy, they will can become your friend. That's just my theory. And so
Are
you
they
know,
are they really your enemy? That's also the question, right? Are they really?
right, right.
Sorry.
Could be that distract. We just got distracted. We don't even know what we're fighting about. So you guys know we're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Go like our page on Facebook, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Eric, thank you so much, and I look forward to
Thank you,
another
Ali.
conversation with you real soon because there's more in there. Trust me. If you can be in the room where Eric is,
Yep.
there.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And bye from
Absolutely.
Amsterdam.
Yes. And so, as always, until next time, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a great day, everybody. Bye,
Bye
Eric.
bye. Bye bye. Bye, Ali. Thank you.